Mama fumbled with the keys, trying to unlock the front door, when she noticed two teenagers huddled close together behind a pine tree in our front yard. A street light shined down from behind them. Neither of them wore a coat, and they were both shivering so badly that their bodies were shaking. The boy held his hand against his mouth as if he were trying to keep warm by breathing on his hands. Mama called out, "Who's there? Who are you?" "Tate Coffee," the boy responded weakly. "This is my sister, Barbara Jean." Fresh from a rousing Sunday evening church service, there was no question in Mama's mind about her responsibilities. "Well, come in and get warm and get something to eat," she said. The church bus drove away as Tate and Barbara Jean followed us inside and waited in the living room while Mama built a fire in the fireplace. Tate continued holding his closed hand up to his lips, clutching a rag that looked like half of a sock and inhaling through his mouth. Every so often he would take a plastic bottle from his back pocket, remove the cap, hold the rag on top of the bottle, then flip the bottle upside down, saturating the rag with paint thinner. He'd return the bottle to his back pocket and then hold his fist with the wet rag in it up to his mouth. I noticed that his hand was raw and cracked. His eyes were red and glassy. Obviously, the paint thinner was making Tate look and feel the way he did. Barbara Jean never said a word the entire time they were there. She just sat quietly beside Tate. After Mama fixed something for Tate and Barbara Jean to eat, we all settled in for the night. As kind and noble as Mama's gesture was, it set in motion a never-ending downward spiral. From then on, Mama took in every Tom, Dick, or Sally who happened to come by the neighborhood and needed a place to crash. In the following months, our house went from smelling like Pine Sol, Mama's cleaning agent of choice, to beer and dirty clothes. It seemed that every drug addict, sniffer, prostitute, and criminal who stepped foot on Vance Street found refuge at our house. It got to the point where strangers wouldn't even knock before they would come in, raid the refrigerator, and find a spot on the floor to sleep for the night. One of the addicts who'd been occupying our living room floor told Mama that a guy named Forrest Rose and his pregnant girlfriend Dixie were living in the woods near our house. Mama immediately headed out the back door and trudged into the woods until she found them, bundled up inside a cardboard box covered in plastic and snow. She begged them to come back to our house and stay until they could get on their feet. They came, but they never got on their feet. Quite the opposite. Once they moved in, Forrest invited all his low-life friends to visit. Many of them became visitors who wouldn't leave. These druggies, alcoholics, and venereal disease-ridden derelicts took over our home, adding to the lunacy of life on Vance Street. We had people such as Crazy Fletcher, who lived in one of the many mill houses, nearly identical small homes built by the textile companies and rented to their workers, near our house. One night, Crazy Fletcher showed up at our house carrying a record player along with an Ozzy Osbourne album, Bark at the Moon. Fletcher set up the stereo on the floor, cranked up the music, then sat down in a chair beside it, staring at the odd menagerie of maniacs mingled in the living room. After a few songs, Fletcher stood up abruptly and stormed out the back door. He returned a few minutes later carrying an axe. Striding straight through the house, he reached the record player in the living room, raised the axe high in the air, and brought